Hello and good morning everyone, and thank you for joining our MobileIron webinar today. So we are joined here by Aki Lewis, Head of Channels and Alliances from MobileIron, and also Richard McArdle, Technical Channel Manager from MobileIron.
Good morning everybody, and thank you for attending this webinar from MobileIron, and thank you to Bytes for hosting for us. My name is Aki Lewis. I work for MobileIron and run the Channels and Alliances program. The whole presentation will last roughly about 40 minutes. We have a demo in there and a short customer video which is approximately 4 minutes 30 seconds. Any problems, obviously put something into the chat box and Sarah or us will come back to you. So hopefully everybody can see my screen. Sarah, can I confirm that you can see my screen?
Yes, yeah, we can see the screen fine.
Okay. So we'll be going through who are MobileIron. Some of you may have heard of us, some of you may not. We'll talk about why MobileIron, the landscape and the competition around this space, around enterprise mobility management. We'll talk through the technology stack and what we offer by way of technology. And as I said, we'll have a short case study video, which I must warn you, we've just done a demo. It tends to be slightly jittery. We are actually hosting this from our laptops, so it just may be connection issues. And then there is a demo which Richard will be running, and then we'll talk through some conclusions at the end and any kind of Q&A. So any questions, please, as Sarah said, put them into the chat box, and well, we can answer those as we go. So the whole MobileIron story really is around securing mobile enterprise information wherever it lives. Obviously, everybody these days is diversifying into mobility, and a lot of the information that we as people store when it comes to work certainly tends to be on our mobile devices. A lot of the access and gateways to information tend to be around mobility. So what we're trying to do is build a secure infrastructure for this new model of working and enterprise computing. Obviously, you know, we've shifted on from the old LAN days and network days, and with the ubiquity of wireless capabilities wherever we are, this kind of leads to you know, the need to have some kind of secure foundation to move forward with regards to mobility and how we store that information on those devices. A little bit of background, as a very brief background around MobileIron. Say some of you may have heard of us, some of you may not. We have roughly 8,500 customers as of Q1 this year. Out of the global 2,000, we have 450 of those. Revenues are roughly between 132 and 140 million. We have been the fastest growing technology company for a number of years, and recently were named by Glassdoor as one of the best companies to work for. The split of our business, as you would expect from a West Coast-based company, US is 56, international is 44. And although that shift, I have to say, is changing. You know, Europe is a very strong market for us, and you know, certainly probably the most innovative market between the US and APAC. 400 resellers. We are a reseller-only business, and that's very important to state. You know, we only work through partners. We don't deal directly with customers, and we are very supportive of our partners like Bytes. We also work with a number of mobile service providers, you know, if you look at the UK, we have total coverage in the UK market across all the networks, as well as many MVNOs linked to those networks. So you know, we have a very strong carrier presence within the UK and Ireland. 4 years in the leader quadrant, a number of patents that we own, and in addition to that, we have a very good ecosystem around our technology. So we have customers who are developing dedicated apps to put into app stores for themselves and sharing those apps with us. Over 1,000 plus customer applications. We have App Connect partners. App Connect partners, and we'll show you a list of those, or a small list of those later, are partners who use and expose our APIs into their own platforms so that we can be integrated into them. And also we have a number of technology alliances, as you would expect to, with all the large vendors out there, like HP, IBM, etc. As I mentioned a second ago, Leaders Quadrant, you can see that we are the most visionary according to Gartner. We've been in this top quadrant for a number of years, and we continue to do so. I'd encourage anybody to read the report. It's warts and all, but certainly gives all of our customers who read this, gives them a very fair view into the landscape and as it stands, and certainly into our organisation and where we are compared to the rest of the market. As I said, we've been up there for a number of years. We can continue to innovate, and I think the important thing there is we are solely focused on mobility. We do not dilute our offering through other technologies, and what we try to offer our customers is best of breed, and through our Tech Alliance program we align with a number of different companies who can use our technologies to integrate into their own solutions. On the customer side of things, as you would expect, we work in all the verticals, by financial services through to legal and professional. Some of the names in here you'll recognise, most of them are global names, but yeah, it's a very, very broad mix, but very, very focused on that 2,000 top list of customers that we work with. And but some great names in Great Northern Street Hospital in there, for example, retail hospitality. We've got Lidl in there, financial services, tech and manufacturing. Some great clients in there. There is a tidal wave, as I mentioned at the beginning, of mobility. 1 billion new shipped devices during the next 3 years, 850 million devices installed by 2017. The world is going mobile, and that's being led by the connectivity boom. Only this morning I was listening to Radio 4 and the ex-head of BT talking about fibre and how fibre really needs to come to the fore within the UK, and how Hong Kong gets 1 gigabit internet, and we seem to be lacking behind, but we are catching up. The networks are there. The ability to work anywhere is important. Our offices here, for example, a number of people in our offices here work from home, and that connectivity, the ability to work from mobile devices is becoming ever so important. And probably the reason for that is that during our personal hours, we seem to be involved in a lot more work than we ever used to be. You can see the stats. 51% of us send or check email when we're away from the office. 43% of us will send texts. We'll make voice calls outside of work hours, the traditional work hours, and also look up information on networks and internal systems. That really is kind of driving this boom, the ability to work anywhere, anytime, and really to flexible working as well. Obviously, on the flip side of that is during work hours, what we do, we do exactly the same. So they are mirror images of how what we do in the office is what we tend to do at home, just on a slightly smaller scale. It gives really some importance into why you should need to have a secure infrastructure around your mobiles, around your mobile devices, around the software in your mobiles, and the integration into existing systems in the back office, and also, in addition to that, into cloud systems. That remains a really important part. The traditional enterprise structure, certainly when I came to the business many years ago, was this kind of zero privacy security model, led by IT, defined endpoints and data centers, so you connected from one point to another, and that's the only route you could take. Very much a closed stack, based around some of the Windows elements, that we had, and Windows Server elements that we had. That's obviously changed, as we all know, and thank you very much, as I said, for attending, because you will all be painfully aware of some of the pressures that brings to your own organisations. But now we're working more on trust-based security models. It's really led by the user, their choice of devices, when they want to connect, what connectivity that they have. Very much a distributed computing model, where the information is kept in a number of different places, not just in your own enterprises, but outside in the cloud. And it's very much anti-stack. We are looking at using different resources from different people. You may use Office 365 and Box. You might use Salesforce and Box or OneDrive or Google Docs or Google Mail. There is a combination of things in there, and they tend to be the best of breed, and we're seeing more and more organizations becoming anti-stack, either for cost reasons or for technology access reasons. People are picking the best solutions that are relevant to their businesses, and they come from a number of different sources. The architecture around mobility really is worth talking about as well. The successful mobility and successful enterprises using mobility really is based on these kind of 3 areas, or this is certainly one concept. Apps are sandboxed on most devices. They cannot access the OS underneath, or the OS kernel. A number of APIs are published. software integrates into those APIs or uses the APIs to drive itself. The OS firmware is separated off from that layer and is sealed. And the devices that are coming out at the moment, and Apple iPhones, Android for work, Windows devices, being the three kind of key markets really, have built-in APIs to do enterprise mobility management, albeit on a small scale. If you're starting to do that, but also a number of APIs if you want to advance that solution along at some point. And just as by way of our architecture, without going into huge amounts of detail, Richard will go through the demo in a second, but from a very high-level point of view, the enforcement, you have a number of applications. We have a product called Sentry, which allows you access control to your enterprise systems. Imagine somebody standing at the gate or the lock and key saying you can come in or you can't come in. You design your policies around that, and they also go through Sentry. But also, in addition to that, where you have data in third-party systems such as Box and Salesforce and OneDrive, etc., and Google Drive, we give you secure access to that documentation, the ability to restrict what information you can see, who can see that information, and what you can do with that information. So we're trying to make sure that the information which is relevant to your organizations is still safe in these third-party systems, whatever third-party systems that you choose. I mentioned some of our App Connect partners in the Tech Alliance. You'll see a number of applications in there. We've mentioned Box and other companies, Breezy, etc. And these people are developing applications which allow us to wrap those applications so they are in a secure container type area on the device. And also we have Tech Alliance partners, and you can see them there. Many of them work with Bytes as well. So please, if you want to speak to any of these organizations, go back to Bytes. But it's important to note that this is a secure infrastructure, but very much about utilizing the native experience in the devices. And I can't enhance that message enough. We are all about the native experience in the devices. What we don't want to do is people who are used to using these operating systems and then the way that they function is take that functionality away, which just drives down user adoption and ownership and basically gives you less information for the field. So that remains one of our key structures, is to leverage the existing operating systems and the way that they work, and not to hide away in a box the functionality that everybody needs on a daily basis to work. We do, as I said, very much a partner-led organization on a number of fronts. We deliver via our partners. We also partner with major organizations, as you would expect us to. So, for example, with Apple and iOS, we're working on 8 and 9. We hope to have a zero-day support for iOS 9, which is due in September, mid-September, I believe. Obviously, working with Android and organizations like Samsung and Knox and Android for Work, which is becoming more and more prevalent as more and more people update their platforms on Android and take on some of the new operating systems. Android for Work starts to become more and more important in that space. In addition to that, we have a huge amount of effort around Windows 10. On our website, if you go to MobileIron.com, there's a huge amount of information around Windows 10 and what we're planning to do with that, and that remains a very key platform for us. Contrary to popular belief in the predicted demise of Windows, we think it will be a strong platform for a number of organizations out there. And to that extent, EMM, will be a security and management approach for Windows 10. EMM will be very much a part of enterprise mobility. Within Windows 10. As you can see, Windows 10 will be, as many of you know, be ubiquitous across different platforms, which means that it requires management at different levels for these devices. We're seeing more and more of Windows 10 organizations talking about the adoption of Windows 10 right across the board, and it remains a very, very important part of our organization and our build as we go forward. What we're trying to do is obviously for your organisations is helping those end users become productive, and that remains our absolute key. Get my device, whether you're talking about a corporately owned device and whether it's retail based at point of sale, whether it's field based and people are doing stuff in the field, or whether it's just within the office accessing emails. We can cover both of those elements, whether it's bring your own device, bring your own tablet, or whether it's a corporate device. We can help set up that device. Get my applications the next stage. You've got your device, you want to get your applications down, which are corporate applications needed to drive your businesses. We have an enterprise app store, which basically allows you to put those into a secure place, access those in a way that conforms to your business rules. Get my content, so whether it's, you're looking at internal intranet internally, whether it's personal cloud information, the content they require, again, delivered in a secure manner to these devices. And, given that capability to say, well, yes, you can edit, no, you can't edit, you can change or you can't change, view only, and that kind of data protection DLP capability that you would expect organizations like us to have baked into our platforms. And again, DLP, selective wipe of work data. So, when it comes to BYOD devices, what you're not wiping is people's photographs and music. What you are wiping is the corporate-related information on these devices. Also giving you the ability to do single sign-on and secure access through third parties, all the way through the enterprise on these devices. So we're going to play this video. My apologies before I start if it becomes a bit jittery. This is from WorldPay. As I said, 4 minutes and 30 seconds. We'll just play it now.
I'm Rakesh Gupta, and I work at WorldPay. I am the Vice President for IT. WorldPay is a credit card processing company. So when you swipe a card at a merchant, a credit card at a merchant, we take the transaction and process it on behalf of MasterCard and Visa and fund the merchant. Have a seat right over there. Okay. What we needed was basically to streamline our sales process and make it more efficient. And the iPad was the option that we wanted.
With the iPad, we're able to go to the merchant, show him everything, give him the brochures, give him the videos, and have the form right there. Merchant goes through it, picks the options they want, signs on it, it's done.
The way that BFA was connected to WorldPay, we simply received a call from one of the local Apple retail stores, and they informed us that they were invited in to an opportunity that involved a lot of iPads, but it also involved mobile device management and deployment of those iPads.
Met with them, talked to their experts. They knew what they were talking about. You could tell very easily. They actually gave us excellent advice during the interviewing process.
So we had talked to a major telco provider, but we felt that we were not going to get the personal service that we would get from a smaller company, and which is why we decided to go with BFA.
They waited until they found out what we needed before saying, okay, here's one of your possible solutions. Here's another possible solution.
But besides just providing the expertise to craft the solution and then rolling it out, they also decided to have us on site actually doing the work on a daily basis.
We knew we didn't have the staff to take care of this. We were already understaffed. So if we were going to get a new tool that we're going to have to manage, we're going to need a body in order to manage it.
We are not the experts. We are experts. If you look behind me, this is what we do. We process credit card transactions. We do it very well. We do hundreds of transactions per second. That is what we do. We don't do iPads. That's not our core business. So we wanted somebody to come in whose core business it was to manage iPads and the iOS platform.
So the tasks that WorldPay put on Martin were to take care of all things mobile.
How many new hires do we have coming in? Right now we have over 450 iPads deployed in the field. And we have breakages, we have returns, iPads break. So all of that is currently being handled by BFA for us.
MobileIron is being used as the mobile device management system, and so Martin is constantly either looking at the screen to see what's going on with those with the parameters that are put in place, or he's getting alerts left and right. But he's serving 450 salespeople who constantly need this tool, constantly want this tool, and by the way, constantly think that they're the only salesperson in WorldPay, I'm sure.
It can be fun and challenging to try to figure out what's wrong, because I like fixing problems, solving problems. So that challenge is exciting.
BFA is focused on mobile device management. It works. They know which ones work. They can use any one of the tools.
You're not just a numbered account. You are a named account, not a number. There's a huge difference between a numbered account and a named account. You know, so I prefer working with a vendor who comes to me and asks me what I need rather than tell me what he can provide me. I think that was the differentiating factor, and I think that is why we chose BFA, and that's why, you know, I think I would recommend BFA to the people.
So hopefully that came across okay. There is a number of other case studies more localized to the UK and Europe on the website, and a number of other videos highlighting the technology itself, direct from MobileIron, as well as client videos such as the one that you've seen. We're just going to run a short demo now. Richard McArdle is going to take over. So Richard, if you want to do the intro, and we'll do the video of the demo.
So good morning, everybody. What we've done here is we've created a short demo video, and what I did yesterday was sit down and go through a process of what it would look like to a end user. And we've just recorded it to put it through, and also to avoid anything around connectivity issues and so on. So hopefully all will go well, and we'll see how this presents itself.
Hello and welcome to this short video presentation, which focuses on the end user, demonstrating how you can empower your employees with applications and access to content in order for them to be productive in the enterprise on devices they used on a day-to-day basis, being protected by MobileIron. In order to start the process, we need to register the devices. And to register the device, you can go to the Apple App Store, where you can download the Mobile at Work client. Now, the Mobile at Work client is a client that automatically configures the device to function in an enterprise environment by enforcing the configuration and security policies to be set, or that have been set by the IT department based on your roles. Now, the client works with the MobileIron core to configure corporate email, Wi-Fi, VPN, and provide a number of security certificates, and to create a clear separation between personal and business information. So we're going to open up the client, and as you can see here, I'm being asked to enter my username as a starter. So those details I'll add in, and in this instance I'm also being asked to add details of the server that it's going to be connected to. IT can actually hide this so it becomes an automated field. So now being prompted for the password, which we will put in, and hopefully, and there we have it, been presented with the privacy statement and so on. So as you can see, it's very, very quick to start the registration process. So here we go, and we'll continue. And the next thing we're going to start seeing is the configuration files and such like coming down. And here, the first thing we're being asked to is actually to want the device to be located. So we're going to allow that to happen. And now we're going to start the configuration of the device itself. So what we're looking to see now is going to be asked to install a number of items around the profile service. You can see this process will actually move along very quickly. Now, because my device actually has its own user password at the beginning when I log on to the device, I'm actually being asked to enter this now as part of the process. However, if I didn't have such a password at the beginning, then the IT department can set it up to enforce that policy as part of the process. So here we go, enrolling the device onto the service, making sure that there's mobile device management coming in. We'll install that capability onto device and say this is a trusted device and so on, and we should see the process coming to an end. And there you have it. It is done. We have the device management installed. Now what's going to happen as a byproduct of that is, because of my role, I have now a number of applications assigned to me that I can start having pushed to me on my device, and that process should start any moment now. We're going to see a number of things coming through on the device, and a number of things that we're not going to be discussing today. So the tunnel, which is just being downloaded at the moment, enables a per app VPN capability for iOS 7 devices and so on, which interacts with the MobileIron platform to allow managed apps and Safari browser to securely access enterprise resources from outside the enterprise network. Going to install Docs at Work. Now, the Docs at Work is a very important thing as part of this demonstration today and this video, because we're going to be using the Docs at Work in order to provide us with a way to access, store, and view, and edit, and even annotate documentation from various content repositories. Which can then be automatically made available to the device users. And it's very much around letting admin control the what happens to the device and establish where data should be and protect documentation from unauthorized distribution as an example. So the most important thing now is we've been talking about applications and so on, and the Apps at Work piece here. So I'm going to open Apps at Work, and the Apps at Work is a container that holds all the applications that I have been approved to download within the corporate environment. And because it's a secure container, I'm required to put a password into the device to provide me access, and it's one that the user will have to remember in order to continue using it at a later date and to download apps in the future. So the next thing you're going to sort of see now is that container being populated with all of the applications that I've got access to, and then I can make a choice to sort of download what I like. Now, as you can see, there are a number here, and in the top left-hand corner you can see the featured applications are all there. And if it's all busy, it's such a busy screen here, what you can then do is look at the categories, categorize everything that you need. So what I'm going to do is actually I want to make sure that I can use the Cisco WebEx, so I can hold sales meetings and such, and I can talk to my peers and exchange information and whiteboard and so on. So I'm going to select the Cisco WebEx meeting. That's going to start the registration process. And as you can see, you get a window typical of what you see in the App Store. You're able to see various screenshots, and you can also look at the reviews that other people in your organization have put on that application. But to move the presentation along, I will now request a copy of that application to be downloaded to my device. And that's really it in a nutshell. There, as you can see, there are a number of different things through the category, and these can be added by your ID department as you move forward. So therefore, let's come out of the App Store and move on to the next area, which is Docs at Work, which is now being downloaded. So as I was saying earlier, the Docs at Work file is an area which is full of repositories which allow me to put content and have content on the move and so on. Now, as with the apps container, the Docs at Work container is also a secure site, and I'm required to authenticate to be able to go into it. In which case, so I just need to add my relevant password into it and then sign in, and we should then be able to get access, and that's just the request to install the WebEx, and there you have it. So I was mentioning all about the different repositories, and as you can see here, we've got Google Drive, we've got different forms of cloud storage with Box, we've got SharePoint, and we have a number of network drives, and also a Box Enterprise folder also. So what I'd like to do here now is I'm going to go into the new hire site as an example, and I'll open that up. It's going to take a moment where it will then download all the relevant files that are associated with it. I'm just going to open shared documents. You can see there's a couple of files there, so and there we have it. It's now populated and expanded beyond there. So if I then go and look at installation, I can see I've got 2 files there, 2 PDFs, and you can see in the bottom right hand corner actually there is a little a white star on a yellow background. So if I was to open the installation guide in full as a PDF, we'll let that download, and there's the document in its entirety, so it's worth looking at and so on. But I need to see this document on the move, because obviously when I disconnect from the network or don't have mobile coverage, I'm not going to get visibility, because obviously this file is hosted in the cloud and also in my back-end systems. So in the top right-hand corner, you can see the yellow star, and that yellow star makes it a favorite, but more importantly, it makes this document available offline. So that's really important, and allows me then to review it, make it, use it in buildings, and use it on sites as part of it if I'm doing an installation or a number of other things. So that's useful from that point of view there. If I just look at recent documents and so on, you can see there are a number of different things attached, and we'll go and look at this LDAP presentation. I'll download shortly, and there we have it. Downloading, see, it's quite rapid, and the presentation will make itself available. And then what I can do is take a look at it. Yeah, it's all there, good stuff to read through. Need to see this offline because I'm sitting on a train, want to get up to speed, part of my training process. So what I'm going to do, top right hand corner, make it a favourite, and it now be available to me offline. So at this point, I'd like to draw the demonstration to a close. But before I do, I'd like to put a quick summary in place of what we've demonstrated today. So first, we've been able to show that within a few minutes, it's been possible to register a device with the MobileIron Enterprise Mobility Platform. From a user perspective, we have shown that we can give access to a range of applications that will support them in their role, and also shown that we can provide them access to content in order for them to be more productive and engaged at work. In the meantime, while this has all been happening, IT has had peace of mind that enterprise data is being protected. But more important here is the fact that your company is transforming its business, and it's doing so by becoming a mobile-first organization. Thank you.
Thanks, Richard. So just to kind of draw some conclusions really from what we've shown you today. Again, just going back to the Magic Quadrant and where we are. One of the most innovative and certainly one of the leaders in this space. As I said, by all means, I would encourage everybody to read the Gartner report and see the details in that. We are being chosen by a number of organizations around the world, for our mobility, but also our security capabilities. You can see some organizations there, both in financing and government, but also the ability to kind of align ourselves to standards and the SOC 2 and FIPS, and also include technology that allow us to do offline jailbreak detections, on-premise and appliance software. We're members of the PCI Council. Integration with app reputation services such as Trust. Those things are really, really important to our customers. It's important that we relay them to you today, that security remains the highest tenant for us when it comes to managing mobility and running mobility for organizations around the world. There is an expanding set of EMM requirements for a number of organizations, hence the reason hopefully you're listening today. That there is a requirement within your own organisations for EMM management, as that kind of starts to diversify out of the four walls of an organisation and more into other people's lives, both at home and at work. But at the same time, there is a narrowing list of EMM vendors out there. If you go back through the Gartner quadrants over many years, The list of people being able to provide enterprise mobility management is getting more and more, so it's getting smaller and it's more and more focused around the capabilities and what people can do. It's important to note that, we mobilize technology, mobile applications, and security, and leverage security for a number of organizations out there as well. People like Microsoft with Office 365, for example. You've seen some of the SharePoint elements that just in the demo there. So we are working with these organizations to make sure that we are able to do that for those organizations and the organizations that own those third-party pieces of software. 100% focused on innovating for mobile. We don't get strayed in our focus, or we don't stray in our focus. Mobility is a key thing for us, and we continue to innovate and have patents available and put patents into place where we need to. But it is our core focus, not focus on databases, not focus on other technologies. We do have a differentiated architecture, as I mentioned earlier, and again, if you want to drill into that deeper, please speak to your Bytes representative, who will put you through to us, and we're more than happy to get on a call with anybody attending today to actually go through that differentiated architecture. We believe that we offer the best security model at all the levels, whether it's connecting to an enterprise, whether it's securing an application, whether it's accessing services in the cloud and documentation of files in the cloud. We believe we have the best security architecture out there. And certainly that's proven by reading through that Gartner report, and not just Gartner, but also other sources like IDC and Forrester as well, who continue to push a very positive message about our capabilities in EMM, but also around the security model. We do believe we have the broadest ecosystem, best of breed, anti-stack, the best applications coming in, the best technology partners, the best partners such as Bytes out there to provide services for our clients. That remains a real key strength and very much at the core of what we do. And we are optimized for scalable deployments. Some of you may have heard, or some of you may know, that recently we were awarded the largest mobility project in the world, a very well-known online transportation company with over 1 million users globally. And we're very proud of that. But that scalability is built in from the information throughput perspective, but also from the user's perspective as well. So by way of users and by way of data, we certainly believe we have the most scalable platform out there. And that's pretty much it from myself and Richard. I'm going to hand back now to Bytes. So give me 1 second.
Thanks, Aki. Right. So if anyone has any questions at all, if you could just pop those in the questions box, and Richard or Aki can answer those for you shortly. Okay, so I've got a question here from Ian. He said, hi, quick question on Sentry. Is this a physical device that is required to manage access to our enterprise environment, or is it an application or software suite?
Hi, it's Richard here. Yes, it's a physical piece of equipment and software and so on, and it actually sits on premise. But I'd be more than happy to send you some documentation that will then give you an in-depth view of it. But it is actually a virtualized piece of kit, but it sits on premise.
Okay, thanks, Richard. Okay, we'll just wait another minute to see if there's any more questions. Okay, looks like it's just the one today. So obviously, Aki and Richard, thanks so much for. Oh, sorry, we've got a question. So this one's from Phil. He's asked, can billing management be integrated into MobileIron?
It depends. Sorry, this is Aki. It depends on the billing system, and it depends on the APIs that are available and the information that you want to gather. We've had some organisations, certainly in the US, have been able to integrate billing systems. If it's certainly, we have partners in TEM by way of expense management on mobile devices, for example, around core charges, etc. And we work with partners in that space, but we would need to look at it on a specific basis, and we need to look at the platform, the APIs that are available. But certainly, we would be able to give a thorough answer once we knew what the billing platform was.
Thanks, Aki. Okay, so I think that's it for today then. So Aki and Richard, thanks so much for presenting today, and thank you everyone also for taking the time out to join the webinar today. So if you do have any questions or that you want to take offline, or if you'd like any more information or a follow-up call, if you just pop that in the feedback form at the end, we will be in touch. So thanks everyone, and thanks guys again, and I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you.